Hello, my lovely friends. My name is Ava, and here are some romance recommendations with curvy heroines. As a curvy woman myself, I love reading about these heroines. I love seeing myself represented in a book, so I'm hoping that y'all will love these books as well. So let's get started. Despite all of the inaccurate fan art I have seen online when it comes to this book and this heroine, House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas, Bryce Quinlan is curvy. It is very much talked about in this book. This is the first book in the Crescent City series by Sarah J. Maas. I will say I do recommend reading the previous two series before reading this. You can do whatever you want. I'm not the reading police. I've said this before. I'm not the reading police. Read whatever you want. My recommendation, you read the other two series before you get to this one. This is a fantasy romance series. Reads kind of very urban as well, because it's a fantasy world with phones and technology and all that jazz. That part was really fun because I don't think I've ever really read a fantasy book like that before. And that's very different from her other series that I've read. But at the beginning of this book, Bryce's best friend is murdered, and she is tasked to kind of team up with this angel dude, which is Hunt, and you get to read about him in the book, obviously, and try and figure out what killed her best friend. It's so good. I love this one. This is definitely probably my favorite still out of the three that are currently out. But yeah, Bryce Quinlan in here is a curvy woman who loves her body, loves her curves, loves to flaunt them off. So I love her. Ever After Always by Chloe Lisa is my next one. Freya in here, she is a curvy woman. we can see it on the cover. Love it. This is a marriage in crisis, marriage in trouble romance. They want to start a family. They're already married, but the hero decides to work even more and has a lot of anxiety about providing for his family. So much to a point where he's spending more time in the office and working than spending time with his wife. So she's had enough. She's communicated with him multiple times how this is not working. It's not helping. Like, he's not doing anything to change. So she decides to kick him out. Things spiral from there because Aiden is absolutely in love with his wife, loves his wife every fiber of his being, but he has a lot that he's dealing with mentally. He didn't grow up in the best family situation. He's like, I gotta make the most money possible to make sure that my kids don't have a life like mine that I grew up with. So anyway, he's gonna try and woo Freya back in this book. One of my favorites is an alien romance, Choosing Theo by Victoria Aveline. This is book number 1 in the series, so you're starting off with a strong one. This is like top 2 favorites in this series. This one's probably number 2. Number 1 is Really Sick Fan, but we're not talking about that one today. I could talk about that book forever. Anyway, so Choosing Theo is the beginning of this whole series. You have a bunch of human women who have been kidnapped from Earth and are put on this planet called Cocania, but they're taken by like evil people on the planet. Theo and his people, where he's from, we're not responsible for that. However, they don't really know what to do with Jade, the heroine. Women in our society are constantly married. They have husbands. We don't really know what to do with a single woman. So in order to protect you, you're gonna have to get married. So she has to choose a husband from a lineup, and she actually chooses Theo. She finds him very attractive, even though no one else, none of the other women that live on the planet find him attractive whatsoever. Apparently, since he's covered in scars, he's deemed ugly, but she finds him totally intriguing, really hot. Theo has been so outcasted by his people and has not felt desire from another person like his whole life. So he's shocked when he gets chosen to be a husband and thinks that because he's chosen, like, this woman must have ulterior motives. Like, she must be a spy or something, because no woman has ever showed him interest because of the burn scars he has all over his body. But Jade is totally into him, finds him so hot, but she finds it so offensive that he doesn't like believe her. So anyway, this is a great one. I love this one so much. Jade is a beautiful curvy woman. I love reading in Theo's perspective about how like gorgeous and sexy he finds her. Like, oh, it just made me swoon. Muscles and Monsters by Ashley Bennett is a monster romance. So this takes place in our world. However, monsters also exist and live in society with us. So the heroine owns a bakery a few shops down from Atlas, the hero's gym. He runs a gym where only really monsters attend. He wants to encourage more humans to come, but he knows like it can be intimidating and scary. There's majority of monsters in this gym. That's why no humans are showing up. So anyway, Tegan is carrying her wedding cake that she has built for a wedding to her car, and one of the layers plops on the sidewalk right in front of Atlas as he's walking down the street. He ends up helping her, trying to clean it up, put the rest of the cake in the car, and that's how they meet. And Atlas just can't stop thinking about her after that point. Like, it's so cute that his tail has a mind of its own and just constantly wags around her. It's given him away that he's interested, so he has to like grab his tail to be like, shut up, like stop moving. So it's actually really cute. Tegan in here actually joins the gym that Atlas runs because like she was really embarrassed that she ended up dropping one of the layers of her cake. So she's not going into the gym, I love this part, not going into the gym to become skinny. She's going to the gym to become stronger. She wants to not drop the cake. So I absolutely love this one. It's a great little monster read if you want to pick something up that's sweet but also hot. One that is like allspice. You have a Worthy Opponent by Katie Robert. This is a part of her Wicked Villain series, which are Disney retellings, but done in a kinky, like interesting, darkish way. So this is Hook and Tinkerbell's story, okay? All the books in the series take place in a sex club that Hades owns, so that's the majority of this book. But I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, these two have to get in a marriage of convenience to protect Tink from Peter Pan, because Peter Pan is a very bad man, and they get a marriage of convenience to protect her. Tink is this little like bratty woman and Hook is this dom man. Like it's delicious. There are so many hot as hell scenes in here that live in my head rent free. I forget a lot about the books that I read, okay? This book I remember so much of the spicy, like memorable spicy scenes. And we have another woman who absolutely loves her curves and loves her body, so I love seeing that. Mile High by Liz Tom Ford, or is it Tom Fordy? Please correct me. That's my next book. These two characters actually meet on an airplane. The heroine is the stewardess on a private airplane for this. Is it a basketball team or a hockey team? I can't remember. Y'all, one of the two. Please don't hate me. I've only read this book in the series, so I think it might be hockey. I think it's hockey. But anyway, they have this like banter-filled relationship on the plane, and the hero really wants to tap that, really wants to give it that. But the heroine's the only woman to like basically refuse him because she can't do that to one of the players that she is going to be a stewardess for like a while, for a few months. So yeah, that's how that one starts out. This one, I will put a trigger warning in here. The heroine does have a lot of insecurities about her body, which I also related to because like with feeling confident, you also do have those moments of insecurity. So that is relatable, but it's not like a Worthy Opponent where all you're going to get is like, oh my God, I love myself. Like that is not what you're going to get with this one. But I feel like that's also really realistic. You know what I mean? Take a hint. Danny Brown by Talia Hibbert is my next one. I love Danny. I love Danny so much. Danny is a professor at this university, at this college. And one day she's in the elevator and the fire alarm goes off and she's stuck in the elevator. And Zaf, who's the security guard for the building, notices that Danny's like missing because they're friends. He's just like missing out of the people like standing in front of the building. He's like, what is going on? So he goes and looks for her and finds her stuck in the elevator, taking her out of it, rescuing her and taking her out of the building, bridal style. And it kind of goes viral online, like people film it, goes viral online. They decide to fake date to prolong this because actually all this traction in media is doing amazing things for the charity that Zaf runs. He used to be a professional rugby player, and so now he runs a charity for mental health for young boys in sports. And so he's like, hey, I know we're not actually dating in real life, but this is getting me a lot of traction. Will you be my fake girlfriend to help these boys out basically to earn more money for this charity? And she's like, yeah. But her goal is also to get Zaf to sleep with her because she finds him so attractive. She's like, you know what? I want this man so bad. Like, I want him. She doesn't do relationships. She's also a bi woman, so there's that representation here. But she doesn't do relationships at all. Like, one of the first scenes of this book is her breaking up with the girl she's been seeing. So she doesn't do relationships, and Zaf only does relationships. So she's trying to kind of lure him in, right? But she might be lured in herself by Zaf. If you want a Mafia romance, I have Nero by S.J. Tilley. This book starts out with our heroine in her apartment. She's left her balcony door open to let in some air, and she lives on like the 3rd or 2nd floor. So, I mean, I live on the 3rd floor and I leave my balcony door open all the time to let air in. Anyway, she falls asleep and she wakes up and there's a man in her apartment. He apparently scaled the apartment and walked into her room. That is Nero. He is the hero of this story. He's actually on the run from someone. He's a part of the Mafia, and these two characters meet at the beginning when he's in her apartment. He explains things like, I'm just trying to lie low, sorry. They can't stop thinking about each other after that night, and that's all I'll say. And she might like purposefully leave her screen door open to make him come back. She wants him to come back. The heroine of this book is curvy, and you do see a little bit of insecurity in here as well, but I love Nero and the way that he is obsessed with her. I love him. I love him. My last two books are historicals, and sadly, the curvy representation is not on the cover of either of these, which saddens my heart, but it's in these books nonetheless. First, I have Say Yes to the Marquess, or Marquis, Say Yes to the Marquis, by Tessa Dare. This is her second book in the Castles After series. Each book in the series is about a woman finding out that she inherited this castle from this godfather who ended up passing away. The heroine of the story, when she finds out she's inherited this castle, she decides to end an engagement that she's had for years, like a decade. This man has not come to marry her, and she's sick of it. So she marches herself up to his brother who's in town, because her fiance's been overseas for years. And I was like, hey, I'm breaking off the engagement, just letting you know. Go tell your brother wherever he is. I'm done. I've got this castle. I'm gonna be living my new life. Like I'm like, I don't feel desired at all by this man. He hasn't even tried to marry me. It's her romance with her ex-fiance's now brother. Brother has a very damaged past, and he wants nothing but the best for his brother, so he is going to do whatever it takes to make sure that they actually get married. And he's like, you know what, no, you are marrying my brother, this is happening. But throughout him trying to plan this wedding and actually get her to agree to marry his brother again, like, he ends up falling for her instead. One of my favorites that I absolutely love is Chasing Cassandra by Miss Lisa Kleypas. So I adore this one. I love Cassandra, the heroine of this book. The hero of this book, Tom Severin. This man is everything. At the beginning of the story, Cassandra is the only sibling in the Ravenel's family that is not married yet, and so she goes up to her cousin, because back in those days, like, cousins could get married. She's like, anyway, she goes up to her cousin and was like, hey, I know you don't want to be in love with someone to be married, and I really want a husband, like, how about we just marry each other? And he's like, no, I don't want to do that too. You deserve someone to like be in love with. I'm not gonna take that away from you. Tom Severin, who is kind of like a rake in society, he's very well known for being a hard ass, kind of scary as well, is actually overhearing this conversation and just like walks in and is like, hey, I volunteer as tribute, I will marry you. And Cassandra's like, who are you? What are you talking about? Like, this is a private conversation. But the moment that Tom lays eyes on Cassandra, her and all of her curves, just how beautiful she is, he's like, that woman is going to be mine. He doesn't do love. He doesn't feel love. He doesn't feel emotion, okay? Throughout the whole book, he's like, I don't know how to feel love. I'm not gonna love you, but I want you. And yeah, they actually do get married, so you get to read about that. But it's never stated in this book, but I'm pretty sure Tom is neurodivergent, possibly autistic, and like, I just loved seeing him learning about what love is. He is everything. He is so obsessed with this woman and wants her in every way he possibly can. Like, he wants Cassandra with every fiber of his being and finds her to be the most stunning creature of all time. And I love that in a hero. Anyways, there you have it. Those are some books with curvy heroines. Let me know down below if you've read any of these books or if you plan to. And if you don't feel like commenting anything else, you can leave me, what emoji should we do? I'm looking at the books here. Let's do any yellow emoji for Take a Hint, Danny Brown's cover. Anyways, thank y'all so much for watching. I will see y'all soon in my next one. Bye y'all.